Hello guys, Randomized Taco here, and this is something I've wanted to do for about a year now. Ever since I beat Hollow Knight for the first time, I really wanted to play it on video just to show why I love this game so much. And I haven't had an opportunity to do so until now, so I'm going to grab my controller quick and we'll get started. This is going to be the first episode in a long series, long, because unlike Game Grumps, I'm not going to pussy out after 3 episodes. Because I've beaten this game several times. So, unfortunately, you're not going to see a blind playthrough, but I know what I'm doing, so if you decide to play this game, do not expect my gameplay to look like what yours will look like initially. Everyone struggles at the beginning, that's just natural. So, after several years, I guess it's finally time for me to start a normal mode playthrough for you all. In wilds beyond they speak your name with reverence and regret, for none could tame our savage souls, yet you the challenge met. Under palest watch, you taught, we changed, base instincts were redeemed, a world you gave to bug and beast as they had never dreamed. From Elegy for Hollownest, by Monomon the Teacher. Also, my audio quality's fucking terrible right now, because reasons. And that's what a $30 headset will get you, but it's better than nothing, I suppose. Ooh, look at this. It's the guy. Totally nothing ominous or suspicious relating to the lore happening here. Ah, yes, wonderful. The orange juice man. Faces. Wonderful. I actually know what all this means, but I'm going spoilerless for the, 3 people who will end up watching this series at all, because almost none of them know anything about the lore of the game. And look, there's our little buggy boy. There's the main protagonist. That's who we play as. And just as one little note, because this is a common misconception, that is not the Hollow Knight. Our main character is not the Hollow Knight, which is a common misconception new players have. So, here we go. And now we fall. Thud. Ooh, wow, look at that. Bird-like things. You don't see those ever. Because we've all been locked inside for months on end. God, it is so strange to not have any of my abilities anymore. It's been so long since I've actually started a new playthrough. It feels nice to not have my nail do, literally no damage, though. Very, very good. So yeah, this is just the beginning. Not exactly the worst thing in the world, but if you're new, you might struggle a little bit at the beginning. And sometimes, if you're me, you'll act like a massive idiot because you're trying to talk and play the game simultaneously, and then you'll do that. Oh yeah, I should probably go back and read the lore tablets. Higher beings, these words are for you alone. Your great strength marks you amongst us. Focus your soul, and you shall achieve feats of which others can only dream. Collect soul by striking enemies. Once enough soul is collected, hold B to focus soul and heal. That's what that little prompt is I hold B because I'm playing with the controller, which is the best way to play this game. Don't at me, I'm right. And then you'll just heal. But seriously, never, ever play this game with keyboard. It is just absolutely ridiculous to try and control. And everything is way stiffer and reaction times are worse. I just don't like keyboard controls for this. Then again, I could be a little bit biased considering I first played this on an Xbox. And then this stuff I'm not going to explain what it is now, but it's effectively temporary health. You can see I have the little blue health blips, which are called masks. And now, this is just a little secret bit that most new players won't notice immediately until it's too late. Ooh, wow, something down here. This is kind of what you should expect out of a Metroidvania, is hidden areas. That mechanic is called the nail pogo. If you can bounce off spikes and enemies to bounce yourself up and also potentially deal damage. And that item I just got is called a charm. Charms are like the badge system from Paper Mario, another series that I will be playing at some point on this channel, because I was about halfway through a 1000-Year Door Let's Play when all of my footage corrupted and I never got to upload any of it, which felt really fucking bad. But anyways, you kind of just gotta go back up through here once you collect the charm. But charms are incredibly useful. They'll augment your player in different ways. The one I picked up, Fury of the Fallen, makes me deal double damage when I'm at 1 mask of health. Oh yeah, I should read this lore too. Higher beings, these words are for you alone. Beyond this point you enter the land of King and Creator. Step across this threshold and obey our laws. Bear witness to the last and only civilization, the Eternal Kingdom, Hollow Nest. That's the place that this game takes place in, is Hollow Nest, and I just love this game. I really can't come up with enough praise to say about this absolute masterpiece. So now, here we are. You always gotta go. If you don't go, I will be upset. Another thing that you must do, talk to Elderbug. If you don't talk to Elderbug, I'll break your knees. I'm not gonna do voice acting for the characters because, I suck. I'm only gonna read out like lore tablets and stuff. But as you can see, benches in this game are your save points. They are the only place that you can equip charms or take them off. Benches are the lifeblood of this game. Speaking of which, if you will notice, sitting at a bench will delete your lifeblood, so if you have a lot of lifeblood and you're going to do something with it, do not sit at a bench. And welcome to the first area of the game, the Forgotten Crossroads. I don't really have much to say about this area, it's just the tutorial section. So, onward we go. Throughout this, I'll be talking a lot about the friendly faces, the characters we meet, and other non-important stuff. You see, that's a little something I used called deception. Every character is important in some way. For example, this here is Cornifer. He is the map man. He will sell you the maps, and they are your greatest ally in this game. You should always speak to him. He is the best. And then, as he stated, his wife Izelda sells charms map stuff up in Dirtmouth. She does, however, actually sell one charm titled Wayward Compass. The Wayward Compass is literally just a compass to keep track of you on the map, because as you can see here, the map does not track where you are in the game. Now, if you're doing what I'm doing and breaking every single one of these rocks that you find, you should be collecting a lot of the currency in this game, Geo. And breaking rocks is always a great idea. And, you know, smack suspicious looking walls. Because if you were smart, you would have noticed that that wall moved when I hit it while trying to grab some Geo, which is an indicator that there was a false wall there, because clearly there's more to see and more to do. So we just fall, and I don't want to tussle with that guy yet, because I want to show off this. This is a special area called a hot spring. Hot springs are not common, so when you find them throughout the world, always rest at them. The special water here will refill your soul to its maximum current capacity. So now you just go off. Currently, the only thing that I can use soul for is healing, but you do unlock spells throughout the game that cost soul to cast. No weapon changing though, you're stuck with the sword for the whole game. Which I don't really mind, I prefer the close combat actually. I really only cast my spells when it's necessary. But you should always keep yourself topped up on health as much as possible while traveling throughout the world, because if you encounter an enemy that you cannot properly face, and you are at low masks, you will just die. And here is the first instance of something that we cannot yet reach. It's an area that we will need to come back to later to grab an item, after we've obtained a power-up. Could be a double jump, could be a wall climb. I'm not gonna spoil anything, as previously stated. But this playthrough is not blind, as also previously stated. In case you can't tell, I'm an idiot that has a hard time keeping track of what I say. So, we kinda just keep going, kill things, and just make it through the world. As lore does come up, I will explain it though. And the only way that I will know how to explain any of this, because I am an idiot, is because I watched Mossbag's videos on it. Mossbag is a wonderful YouTuber, huge props to that guy, because without his content, I would know literally nothing. I tried to go for a fancy trick there and completely screwed it. Fuck. Language, words, cannot speak good. Look at that, I did it again. But, yep, I fucked it up the first time and got it on accident the second time because I didn't want to go back down there. If you want all the geo here, you're gonna have to tank 2 masks of damage, which is not a good idea if you are doing a permadeath run. Which, if you saw the game mode select upon creating this save file, Steel Soul is the permadeath mode. If you die in Steel Soul, you're just dead forever, no respawning. Which is not exactly the easiest thing to deal with sometimes, I will admit. I have lost so many Steel Soul files right next to the end that it's absolutely infuriating. I would advise against going for completion in this game unless you don't care about having to go through walkthroughs, because unless you are smart, you will not have an easy time figuring everything out. Easy boss fight. That was the first boss in the entire game, the Gruzmother. Not exactly the worst thing in the world to deal with. Another thing, there are certain NPCs that it is just etiquette amongst the community to bow to. For example, when I watched the RT game series on this, which RT is one of my favorite YouTubers slash streamers, and this is my favorite game of all time, I was absolutely thrilled when he did that. I remember chat just screaming at him to go back and redo certain bosses because he did not bow to them. And then, here is Sly. You might have noticed those orange particles floating around his head. They are pretty important to the story, but I'm not going to explain it yet, because you're going to see it a couple more times before it's explained what it is in-game, and then I'll do an explanation, because the game's explanation is not always the best. Which is not a downside, it's just meant to be slightly confusing lore-wise. You can see there's a little parkour challenge there, and then you will find the first of 46 collectibles, the grubs. The grubs are an optional collectible that can net you certain rewards for collecting a certain number of them, as well as money. Every single grub you save will get you a little bit of money if you go to a certain room here in the crossroads. But I'm not going to do that yet. Fun fact, this is the only room in the entire game where this enemy spawns. Literally the only one. If you want to go for full completion, you're gonna have to farm that room for like 10 minutes. There's another breakable wall there, which can be noticed by the dent, and here's another grub. But the dent is not always noticeable, especially if you do not have the best eyes, like I do. Severe astigmatism is a real bitch. But as you can see, I've got a decent chunk of money now, a decent chunk of geo. So I am planning on heading back up to Dirtmouth soon, that is the town. Because I have unlocked both of the shops in Dirtmouth. I have unlocked Sly's shop and Cornifer and Iselda's store, because by talking to Cornifer for the first time, or completing the first objective, you unlock Cornifer and Iselda's store. This enemy is not a boss. He's just an exceptionally tough normal enemy. This is a Husk Sentry. How tough enemies work in this game is enemies that are especially hard to beat, like the Moss Knights that I will explain when I find them in the next area, and these Husk Sentries do not respawn. If you leave any room and re-enter it, enemies will respawn. The only way to cause the tough enemies to respawn is to go sit at a bench and save your game. Which is intelligent and how it should be. I don't know what's up there. I'm pretty sure there's nothing up there. I don't even know why that's an area, to be honest. Because I'm fairly certain there's nothing there. And then that is a place that I'm not going to enter yet for various reasons. But if you pay close attention, you'll see we've made our way all the way back up to the Dirtmouth Well. And then this is Cornifer and Iselda's store.
Bapanada.
Bapanada indeed. The things in this game are all fairly priced. I've explained hot springs. Vendors are obviously shopkeepers. Cocoons. The cocoons are what hold the blue healing goop, which I will once again explain later. Then there's obviously bench pins, which mark where you can save your game. And then this is the quill. Buy this as soon as possible. I'm not going to be buying the compass for a while because I don't need it, and the only reason I'd buy it is to get full completion on charms. But that's that, and then if you come in here to Sly's shop, you will see quite a bit of things. There are mask shards, which are, if you collect 4 mask shards, it's like pieces of heart, they'll give you extra health. Vessel fragments, pieces of soul vessels. Soul vessels are how you increase your maximum soul capacity. This is just a key. It opens a lock. I don't really know what to say about it. And then Sly also has 3, maybe 4 charms for sale. I don't remember, but you won't unlock the 3rd or possibly 4th. I don't remember exactly how many he has until you do something later in the game. Then you can see here, this is the Luma Fly Lantern for a whopping 1,800 geo, which is a lot early game, because you will not be able to see anything in rooms classified as dark. For example, when we were wandering through the crossroads, in the one room I had to hit the lever for in order to go up, you might have noticed off to the side there was a room that looked exceptionally dark that I could have entered. That was a dark room. You would not be able to see anything or interact with anything inside that room if it's dark, which it was. Then if you come all the way over here to the very left, to the very left in the top of the crossroads, you'll see the grubs and the grub father. The grub father is the one who gives you rewards for finding the grubs. So thank you. And for every grub you save, he will give you reward. Oh, there are 46 grubs in total to find and rescue. And so now we just continue on. In case you would notice, he chucked out 3 things there, and I've saved exactly 3 of the 46 grubs so far. And then, because I've explored most of the crossroads at this point, just doing a little showcase of the area and whatnot, when I go to sit at a bench, the quill will update my map and show new things. But for now, we're just gonna keep moving forward. I'll do a progress check at the end of the episode to show what we have and just how far we've come so far in the episode. I'm planning on making these episodes a bit longer than most other series I'd be willing to record just because I like this game. But see, upon resting, you will get the map updated icon as well as the saving icon, and now if I open the map, everything I've explored will be filled out properly, instead of the scribbles that Cornifer has made. And you will see 4 little things. In the very bottom right of the Forgotten Crossroads map, you'll see the little area where I found Sly and the building we can't access. You'll also be able to see the head that looks like what the hot springs came from in the middle of the map, just below what the big horned skull looks like. If you look at the very top left, you'll be able to see the grub home, where all the grubs are. And then if you look in the very top middle, you'll see that building that I refused to talk about or enter. The building that I'm not going to talk about for a while yet, because it is not necessary until I've made it a good chunk of the way through the game to talk about. And so here you can see another Husk Sentry enemy. There are also certain enemies in this game which are categorized as unique. Only one of them will appear in the entire game. Not only one of them will appear, but once you kill it, it will never respawn no matter what. There are very few enemies like this. Those Husk Sentries are not like that. They will respawn upon you sitting at a bench. So as you can see, we've made it through here. You'll see that spike area. Do not try and get through there. You can't. Not with your starter moveset at least. And even with a mid-game moveset where you have a couple spells, you can't do it unless you've completely mastered the movement controls and know how to perform certain glitch-like, exploit-like things. Look at this, here's the big horned boss that we saw on the map, the False Knight. This is the first true boss fight of the game. And even then, he's really not that tough. Unless you're new, in which case it will probably take you like 40 tries to beat him. My first playthrough. But all you gotta do is be slow and methodical, and don't try and rush too much, and you'll win. Also, please notice that when you attack an enemy from the side, you will get knocked back slightly, but when attacking an enemy upwards, you do not get knocked back. With the difference there being that an upwards swing has less range and is harder to connect. if you are actually putting in effort, you should not get hit during this boss fight if you are of a comparable skill level to me. Not that I'm all that good at this game. But as you can see, we did it. We finally beat the boss. And then you bow. You always bow. And the item we got for beating him is the city crest. And like 200-ish geo. Actually, it's exactly 200 geo. So now on we go. Obviously, some things are going to be easier than others. For example, actually no, there's not really an example I can make. I don't even know why I said that, but we have made it here, and now this is what our map looks like. It's almost fully filled out. So hello, Snail Shaman. Ooh, a spell, yes. This is where you gain the first offensive spell in your arsenal of attacks. It is very useful. And then you pass the fuck out, because your frail body cannot handle the power of a spell at first. Consume the Vengeful Spirit. Tap B to unleash the spirit. Spells will deplete soul. Replenish soul by striking enemies. In the community, when people don't want to call the spell by its full name, they'll just say Fireball, because it's effectively a fireball spell. Look at it. It's just a fireball spell. It's really not that bad. And then that enemy, the roly-poly guy, is called a Balder. They're a standard type enemy that are not that hard to kill if you can get the timing down. New players do not have the timing down. You will get wrecked by them your first playthrough. See, even now I still don't fully have the timing down, and I can get wrecked by them sometimes. This is an instance in which you'd want to pogo downwards in order to obliterate the enemy. Players who are good enough can just like uppercut the guys above them with their nail. I can't do that. I've tried. It led to me losing a Steel Soul file because I got cocky. But you just kind of go and do the thing. And don't be a cocky dipshit like me. That's probably the biggest advice I could give to anyone when playing this game. Don't be a cocky dipshit. And then obviously, if you were paying attention, there'd be a breakable wall here. This is something called the Soul Totem. You will find these all throughout the world. So let's just say I'm gonna heal even though I'm at full soul. Striking the Soul Totem with your nail will replenish soul. Same as striking enemies, except totems can't hurt you back, meaning they're useful. And yes, I'm just going to be killing stuff wildly because I need money. The trick is to just not be dumb about your killing. You always need to be aware of the maximum swing speed of the weapon. Which, this right here is the maximum swing speed. You cannot swing any faster than this. I am mashing the button as fast as I can, and it's still only swinging that fast. For context as to how fast the weapon swings. It is exactly that fast. And now we come down here to find the first Elder Balder. This is one of the unique enemies that I was mentioning earlier. Upon killing this enemy, he will never respawn. He's gone forever. There are 3 more of them throughout the world, though. Yes, hello. Hello. Oh yes, I already beat it and got the special dialogue for doing it without being asked. Ooh, so now we can move on to the next area of the game. But first, before I do that, because I feel like being some special kind of fucking stupid smartass, we're gonna go fight an optional boss. Because I have zero sense of anything, really. I'm a massive idiot with zero game skills and zero sense of when something is a bad idea and should not be done. So, you know, clearly my personality mixes beautifully with this game. Same with my lack of intelligence and just really a whole plethora of things that just mesh so well with this game. But I love it anyways, despite my clear inability to play it well, or do even the most basic platforming without succumbing to death. Oh yeah, also there's no fall damage, you'll just get staggered sometimes upon falls. And then this right here is an area that is not typically accessible without an upgrade, but if you're good at the nail pogos, you can pogo off the side spikes and get in. And then this area also will teach you the special mechanic of holding down on the right stick to look down, which is also how you bow and teabag and headbang. But see, that's a breakable wall. There's nothing over there, I've already checked. But if we come back up here, there's another soul totem. I don't need soul. I'm already full on soul. That's another breakable wall, but here, there's a little deposit of Geo. So, free money for me. Unfortunately, one of the Geo fell down there, so I can't grab it, because it probably landed in the spikes. Based off the fact that I could not see it, that confirms that it did, in fact, land in the spikes. So, here we go. And now you will see all of these corpses behind me of what look to be creatures with teeth everywhere. And they are all Molochs. This is the brooding Moloch. There are only 2 of these throughout the entire game. But see, it's not the worst fight in the world. You just have to be wary of the claws because they do swing further than you think. Also, I'm not sure whether or not I picked up the charm at the end of the mound, but I'm entirely sure that... Well, no, because I just said I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure that I did. That charm is really useful. It's called Soul Catcher. It just gives you more soul upon hitting enemies. And there we go. The brooding Moloch has been defeated. I killed it. And upon its death, it does not drop any money, but instead drops a mask shard. One of, let's see, 12, 16 to collect in the game. And so I think I'm going to go until I about hit the halfway mark in the next area. Also, the difference between unique enemies and bosses is that unique enemies are just enemies that are rare and strong and never respawn, and bosses are, there's only one of them, and they're a fucking boss. But here's another one of the 4 Elder Balders that exist in the game. As previously stated, they're never coming back once they are dead. And the best part is, if you're playing with the gun mod, you can access Green Path early by just shooting it once with the gun. The gun mod is really fun, I enjoy it greatly. I also suck really bad at it and tried doing the randomizer mod and the gun mod simultaneously, which was both fun and very unenjoyable. Especially when you get both of the most powerful upgrades in the entire game as literally your first 2 drops. That just kind of made it super unfair and not really fun to play. But this is Green Path, the second major area in the game that you will find. Be careful with those enemies, they explode after death. There is a lot of enemies that do that. But you just kind of gotta go and take down the moss enemies. All of these enemies are living plants. There's actually lore there that I would explain if I were not lazy. And then this thing's just a big Venus flytrap, obviously. Those are respawning enemies. But I don't remember whether or not they respawn upon entering the room or sitting at a bench. Speaking of sitting at a bench, here we are, the first bench in Green Path, right at the entrance, obviously. No, this is not a hot spring, and especially no, do not go in the water in Green Path, or you will die because it is actually acid, not water. Seriously, don't touch the water in Green Path. If I were good at the game, I'd be able to pull off a trick called a fireball skip there to go meet Pink Lady, but clearly I cannot do it, based off of my whole I'm not good enough at the game to do those, and the whole constant talking about how I suck at the fucking platforming. So we just kind of gotta keep going onwards, and then we will eventually not suck. But there's a lot of things to see and a lot of things to do, and you should definitely see and do all of them. But yep, you cannot go forward here, so you must go. Ow, fuck. See, don't touch the well, water with air. Oh yes, look at my astounding lack of intelligence. Look at the thing that I did, despite twice telling other people to not do it. Wow. I'm so fucking stupid. Those green vines are cuttable, and they're effectively like ropes that hold things up. You'll find these all throughout the game in the forms of green ropes, chains, like regular ropes. There's just a lot of stuff here. There's also lore tablets that I'm not going to go out of my way to find, but I will explain the lore of it later, after I've beaten all the game. Probably in a separate episode titled Full Lore Spoilers, which will probably be while I'm taking on some of the optional DLC challenges. Oh yeah, another point. The DLC's free. This whole game is $15. Hello, Cornifer. Give me your map. This is a robbery. Give me your map. And I'm going to intentionally neuter myself and do something that I don't need to do. That's going to make my game harder. Why am I intentionally neutering myself? For the enjoyment of the 4 people that are going to watch this video. I did not crush both of them with that platform, which upsets me, but I just stabbed him to death anyways. This spiky area is not a boss arena. Do not be afraid of it. It might look scary. It's not a boss arena. That is not a boss. The giant screaming thing with glowing white eyes is not a boss. It is called the Hunter, and it will give you the bestiary in this game, also called the Journal. He basically says, kill enemies to be able to read the journal. So now, we have a journal tab. So we can see the crawlids, which are the little guys that I didn't even bother talking about. Venge flies, these are annoying. The gruzzers are less annoying than the venge flies because they just bounce around like DVD logos and are easy to kill. This is the boss fight. There's 2 more of them somewhere in the world that you have to find and kill. Tick-ticks. Well, technically the Gruzmother's a boss, but it shouldn't be considered one because it's just a unique enemy, but it has the boss death animation, which is interesting. The Aspid Hunter, these guys are not that bad until you reach the end of the game. before Shadowtron fires up in the background. And then you got the wandering husks, husks with spiky horns, husks that jump, husks that just ram into you. And then, see, the husk warriors, the ones that only exist in the one room in the entire game. Sorry, husk guard, not husk sentry. But, yep, there's a couple of them in the game. And then False Knight, this is a boss entry. They are not that bad of a boss for the starter, but see, Balders, Elder Balders, and then there are all of the moss enemies. And then these are basically crackhead mosquitoes. I fucking hate them. This is the Brooding Moloch boss, which they gave a butthole for some reason. But I killed that, and then that is the entry. The shade is the entry for the thing that appears when you die. When you die, your shell splits in half and you become a shade, and then you respawn at the bench, and in order to get your money back you have to kill your shade, because you drop all your money upon death. If you die again before you reach your shade that has all your money, your current shade will disappear, a new one will spawn, and all of your money will be lost forever. Do not be an idiot and do that. And so now we just move, because we did it. Onwards we go. It's been a while since I've taken this path. And then see? Grub. Aw, there's a grub in the crossroads. I still hadn't saved. I was gonna go save it, and then I completely forgot. Whatever, I'll do it off the camera, because if I open up the world map, it's the room dead center in the screen, the one crossroads room that hasn't been mapped out, that Cornifer mapped out. There's a grub in there that I was going to go save but got too lazy to do. So just know that in between this recording and the next one I will have gone to do that. Oh, hello Pink Lady, whose name I totally do not know. These are blobbles. They suck pretty bad. But, oh wow, look at that. We made it to the halfway point in Green Path, so this is where I'm going to end off this episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked it, I really don't care what you do. If you disliked it, still don't care. Subscribe if you want, or don't. Not my call. And I'll see you all in hell. Bye.